ni alias Rene, isang senador, very influential. Yung mga kanyang mga pingklawan at mga dilawan, kakampi na ngayon ni Marcos. So, nakakatakot na mawawikwas lang ito lahat.
Are you worried about the safety of alias Rene?
Yes, I'm very worried. I'm very worried because if this woman, this senator, has been doing this for a long time, and she's an expert in manipulation. She's also an expert in threatening witnesses, in even maybe getting rid of them. So allegedly, that can be her expertise.
Alright, magandang araw po sa inyo lahat. Muli po tayo nagbabalik sa napakagandang reaction video. Panoorin at reaksyonan po natin itong napakagandang reaction video na pinamagatang Tanim-Witness ni Risa Hontiveros. At papatutsadahan yan. Dahil nga doon sa para bagang may hinahangad itong si Risa Hontiveros na humabol sa 2028 presidential elections. Pero bago po tayo magpatuloy sa ating reaction video, huwag nyo naman po kalimutan pindutin ang like, share at subscribe.
I would not have much information about that, except that it has gone to the mill in the social media.
So for you and Attorney Topacio, are you planning to file any additional case against Senator Risa based on this recent event?
We'll discuss that, no? Right now, there's no such move yet, but it's more of our appeal to the members of the Senate to, clean up, to clean up the Senate of scalawags like this, for so long, according to Miriam, according to the family, according to the other incidents, there's a pattern. And, that guy, in fairness to Kibuloy, he is in jail. Because of the well-publicized, hearing that he is a rapist, that is, it's so unfair to him that one of the witnesses used in accusing him is in fact a fake witness. Someone that is being just, bribed to malign Pastor Kibuloy. And others were victims of this kind of manipulation. Hindi po tama to, hindi po, and coming from a senator, allegedly. Di ba napaka-masahol naman para sa taong bayan na isang senador pwede palang gumawa nito para lang to perpetuate, to become, and even to have even an ambition to run for president in 2028. Baka makalusot pa yan, tapos ganun pala ang ugali nito.
Well, Congressman Jing, when it comes to you personally, meron po bang pinanggagalingan yung conflict ninyo ni Senator Risa?
Wala po. In fact, we were good friends. In fact, I remember when we were together in the House of Representatives, during the time when the Garci tape was prevailing at the time, we were in the opposition against GMA. We were good friends. In fact, when her husband died, she was a congressman. We paid her a visit. We had a vigil in her office to sympathize, to condole with her. So there was no any animosity between us, except that this is a crime committed when you kidnap witnesses. I mean, any Tom, Dick, and Harry, any Filipino would not tolerate such kind of a behavior coming from a senator.
So that was the first time na nagkaroon kayo ng, I suppose, like a conflict na nag-file ka ng case against her? Was that incident when you were with
It was out of,
VACC.
it was out of, because I was with the Volunteer Against Crime and Corruption
Yeah.
at the time. So, ito lahat, like yung impeachment kay Bautista, it was kami ni Attorney Topacio, we were just concerned that this thing should really be, if there nobody does it, then it should be us who should take the cudgels against these bad people.
Well, you are identified with former President Duterte as well as Attorney Ferdy Topacio.
At the time, we were not.
At the time, nung nag-file kayo
I was
ng
not,
case
I was
na
not with President Duterte.
Well, now that we're talking about alias Rene, who recanted his testimony, and someone like you as a lawyer, how reliable is a witness who recants his testimony? But before you answer that question, we'll have to take a short break. At the forefront, we'll be right back. His testimony. Your assessment as a lawyer, how reliable is a witness who recants?
Well, if we base it on the recantation of Ragos, it seems that the court gives so much, weight to recantation, because we know for a fact that this dilemma should not have gotten scot-free. If the judge was very thorough in, quizzing the recantation. So if that is the prevailing thing now, that recantation is given so much weight, then there is reason why the recantation of Rene should also be, given much weight. That,
So you're saying with
she-
respect to Ragos, it was the basis for the regional trial court
sole basis.
to acquit.
Yeah, in fact, he
Senator
did it
De
twice.
Lima.
This judge did it twice. But the CA was very emphatic that why is she acquitted on the basis of just a recantation without even explanation as to. And former Justice Secretary Aguirre was very blunt about saying that how can he recant this Ragos? How could he recant when there are so many videos when he was interviewed? He was flawless yung Then suddenly he recants and it will be the basis for the acquittal of Laila de Lima. It's too good to be true.
Okay, well,
But that is the Marcos administration, and they are very friendly with de Lima, friendly with the left, and so on.
so are you implying that the recantation, when it comes to Ragos' testimony against Congresswoman Laila de Lima, has something to do with this administration?
Yes. As a matter of fact, it took the Solicitor General to question that. It should have been the Department of Justice. Because they were the prosecutor. And they just let it go. So, it's the initiative of the OSG to file a certiorari with the Court of Appeals. Otherwise, all these cases that were, for the dismissal of the crimes of alleged crimes of de Lima, it seems there's some touch of politics there.
Well, what about this case now of alias Rene? If you're saying that it seems like recantation would have something going on behind the scenes that we're unable to see. In that case, yung kay Ragos nga, you're saying that the administration may have something to do with him recanting his testimony against Congresswoman Laila de Lima. But now with alias Rene, do you think there was also someone that forced him to recant his testimony?
Well, maybe out of conscience, siguro, or I could not go to that extent. That is why I'm challenging the senators, because this is a black eye on the part of the Senate. There's an allegation about one of their members. And they should take initiative to clean up the image of the Senate. Because if we just let this go, then this becomes part of history that the Senate is a bastion of purely politics. There is nothing really good about it. No? Kasi anyone can just... In fact, it's pretty obvious. Tiberos conducted an inquiry by herself. She was the only one who investigated Kibuloy and showed these witnesses with their mask or whatever.
Oh, you mentioned kanina while we weren't on air yet, a certain attorney Sabio who also recanted. What was that about?
Well, Attorney Sabio, if I recall, was the one who initially filed a case against President Duterte in the ICC. But I saw a video later on where he said he was withdrawing the case because he doesn't want to be used. It was for the purpose of perpetuating justice. But it seems that the people who were asking him to file the case or who convinced him were the same people who came up with this decoy, and he was supposed to be convinced by Trillanes to be a witness, to be the lawyer for decoy. Because initially, he lawyered for Las Cañas and Matubato, but sabi niya, oh, this is again another manipulation. So he realized that Las Cañas and Matubato were manipulated witnesses. And sabi niya, I cannot continue being used.
Sino ang ina-accuse ni Attorney Sabio? Accusing him.
These conspirators, Trillanes, Hontiveros, De Lima, at saka yung certain father, isang pare dyan sa Ateneo daw or something. As a matter of fact, I heard that there is a woman who they detained and they wanted her to testify who had filed cases for kidnapping or for illegal detention. I heard that. I could not just get the total story about that. But it's DOJ that filed against filed the case against Trillanes and that priest for keeping that woman inside a certain place.
Would you know if that case is still ongoing?
I think it is ongoing because I heard it in the news or some other stories in social media.
How do you respond to Senator Risa's claim that the witnesses came voluntarily? In this case, including alias Rene.
Well, it's a war against these people. Of course, you're a senator, you're a very powerful person. You can always, manipulate. You can always spend money to whitewash all these things. They have the power. They have the influence. So, how can alias Rene fight them? But if he's telling the truth, and out of conscience, you realize na kawawa naman si Pastor Kibuloy. He's one of those responsible for his incarceration. Baka na-konsensya naman siya. And we cannot always presume that he is paid or he is being, contacted by other people. So, it's neither here nor there. That's why I call upon the proper authority to investigate this and let the truth come out. Kasi kalaban ni alias Rene, isang senador, very influential. Yung mga kanyang mga pingklawan at mga dilawan, kakampi na yun ni Marcos. So, nakakatakot na mawawaikwas lang ito lahat.
Are you worried about the safety of alias Rene?
Yes, I'm very worried. I'm very worried because if this woman, this senator, has been doing this for a long time, and she's an expert in manipulation. She's also an expert in threatening witnesses, in even maybe getting rid of them. So allegedly, that can be, her expertise.
How would you respond to allegations that the cases that you filed and Attorney Tumakbo filed are politically motivated against Senator Risa Ontiveros?
Well, the only thing I can say is that I was not employed with government. I was not then a member of the Duterte family government. No, the government. When we filed that, we were volunteers for the BACC. Kami ni Topacio at the time and it just so happened na Dante Jimenez was then the president. We were the legal advisor of BACC. Ask a favor na, pare, ano nyo naman ito? Tingnan mo naman, nandito yung tatay, nakiusap, yung mga anak niya, nawawala. After daw the investigation sa Senate, the children disappeared. So, it was not motivated by any politics, but it was motivated by our duty as a citizen to fight against evils of government. So,
Kung sakaling walang Senate inquiry or investigation on this matter of witnesses, as you said, the pattern of witnesses that eventually recant and say that they were only coerced by Senator Risa to testify, would you initiate any complaint?
well, if I had the proper evidence, if I had the chance, if I will have the chance to get or get access to this alias Rene, and will be able to get to the bottom of what they say, then I will again volunteer. In fact, we're even thinking of filing an impeachment case against Marcos. We're contemplating that. People should if they file impeachment, a useless or an impeachment that has no basis against Sara Duterte, and they made it a big thing. There are more cases. There are more possible charges against Marcos for an impeachable offense. So, I'm just saying that we can always do what we did before. Impeachment of Bautista out of our sheer, trying to find justice. And also, for the same reason, why not file also impeachment case against Marcos? If there is there are people who can file charges against Duterte, then there are also people who should be conscious that Marcos has committed more crimes than Sara Duterte.
Bakit naman nasasabi na mas maraming kinumit na crime si President Bongbong
Well,
Marcos?
I don't want to enumerate, but I already have compiled. One of that is itong pagkidnap kay Duterte. So many violations of the Constitution. Those are culpable. Violation of the right of abode. That's one. Yung it's not really Sara Duterte that has committed the crime of spending. Because without Marcos violating the Constitution, that amount of money should have not gone to the DepEd. In fact, if you watch Frank Drilon, he said it that there was no item. But why? How come from the contingency fund of Marcos he released? That's a violation.
Oo nga naman po no, mga kababayan, na kung titimbangin nyo nga naman itong si Sara Duterte at si Bongbong Marcos, mas marami pa pong nagawang karamuldumal itong si Bongbong Marcos Itong si Vice President Sara Duterte, kaya nga po nag-quit ito sa DOH, kasi hindi niya na po kaya yung panghihimasok ng gobyerno sa kaban ng sa pera ng DOH, no. Tapos allegedly pagbibintangan pa siya na gumasta ng 150 million something sa loob lamang ng ng ilang araw. Yung kay kay Risa Hontiveros, mga kababayan, tatlong taon pa po ang ating kikilatasin para bago mag presidential elections. Sana naman po sa darating na presidential elections, kung tatakbo itong si Risa Hontiveros, maging na po tayo, maging matalino na po tayo, no. Ilang beses na po tayo nagpabola sa mga kandidato na puro na lamang salita lang, wala po silang napatunayan sa gawa. Mantakin po ninyo yon. Gusto niyo po bang maging presidente? Etong bihasa sa pagtatanim ng mga witness laban sa mga kalaban na na partido. Yun lang po ang iiwanan kong katanungan sa inyo, mga kababayan. Sa darating na presidential elections, dapat maging matalino na po tayo. O bueno, mga kababayan, hanggang dito na lamang po ang ating reaction video. Lagi po kayo mag-iingat at God bless. Duterte po tayo hanggang dulo.